Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn circular queue. Now before starting with circular queue, let's see what is the need of learning this circular queue. So a circular queue is widely used in computer systems for buffering. Computer system supplies a holding area for maintaining a communication between two processes, two programs, or even two systems. Circular queue is also used for CPU scheduling, particularly round robin scheduling. Uh, Makes use of a circular queue to maintain the processes that are in a ready state. Now, implementation of a linear queue brings drawback of memory wastage. However, memory is a crucial resources that you should always protect by analyzing all the implications while designing a solution to a problem. In this case, a linear queue, when rear pointer reaches to a maximum size of a queue, it might be possible that after certain number of DQ operations, it will create an empty spaces at the start of queue, which would never be utilized. So we say that empty slots at the beginning of the list remains unused. There would be a wastage of memory because these slots would never be used. Overhead of moving all the values one step ahead. If we think of the solution that every time we delete a value, we will shift all the values to a left by one position, that is not a feasible solution because it leads to an overhead of moving all the values front by one position, and again that would lead to a wastage of time. So the solution is proposed considering this queue as in a circular fashion. So at the moment, if a front also reaches to a last index, and if there are vacant slots in the beginning, that can be utilized there. Now let us have a look at a circular queue. So circular queue is of course a linear data structure. It follows the same principle of first in, first out. Now it overcomes the disadvantages of simple queue, how we will study in the next slide. So we can fully utilize all the available slots. There won't be any memory wastage. Let us consider this example with 5 elements. I have numbered it from 1 to 5, although when you go for an array implementation, it would be numbered from 0 to 4. Now let us have a look at the example. Initially, rear would be pointing to 0, front would also be pointing to 0 because my queue is empty. Now when I go for inserting my first value, that is 10, rear would be incremented by 1 and front would be incremented by 1. Because I have my first element lying at the position number 1 and that is the only one element, so that is also a last element. When we go for next insertion, say inserting 50, front would remain there whereas rear would be incremented by 1. As in the simple queue, every time with every insertion, rear gets incremented by 1 and front would be there only. Front increments only when there is a DQ operation, that there is a deletion operation. Now inserting 20. So 20 would be inserted at third position. Front is pointing to first location whereas rear would be pointing to a third location. Inserting 70. So front is 1 and rear is pointing to a fourth index. Deleting, now it's a time to delete. So every time you delete an element, front would be incremented by 1 so as to point to a next element, whereas rear would remain at their own position. You can see over here, front would now point to a value 50 because 10 is deleted. Now let us go for inserting one more value, which is 100, which gets inserted at location number 5. Now consider the case of a simple queue. If this would had been a simple queue and if I go for a next insertion, it would give me that queue is full because rear has already reached to a last position. But over here we can utilize an empty slot which we can see over here at a first index. Now if I go for inserting a next value 40, it will not show me that queue is full. Rather, it would utilize this particular slot 1 which was empty in order to insert this value. Now you can see we have fully utilized all our slots. Now if we go for one more insertion, of course queue is full, and at that point of time it will show queue overflow. We will not be able to insert this 140 in a queue because front and rear is pointing to a location where the difference is only 1. Now let us go for few DQ operations. We are deleting, so deletion would be from the front. 15 number gets deleted because their front is pointing, and front would be incremented by 1. Similarly, if we go for one more deletion, we will delete the value and front would then be pointing to 70. Again deleting one more value, you can see. So this is how insertion and deletion takes place. Later on, if you go for some insertion, it will insert the value at index number 2, 3 and 4 and so on. So we can say that circular queue eliminates the disadvantages of simple queue, or circular queue overcomes the disadvantages of simple queue by utilizing all the memory efficiently. Let us now have a look at an implementation of a circular queue. Let us now have a look at a circular queue implementation. Here I have taken a queue integer array of size 5, followed by which front and rear is initialized with -1, and max is the value that gives me the size of queue 5. isEmpty function is designed in the same way as of a simple queue. We will be checking for if front is -1 or rear is -1, indicating a queue is empty. In that case, we will return 1, otherwise we will return 0. isEmpty is a supportive function for a DQ operation, whereas isFull is a supportive operation for an NQ operation. In isFull function, what we have designed over here is there is little bit change over here. Here every time we check for a queue to be full, we will have to check for a front's position as well as rear's position. If front is same as rear plus 1 mode max, that is the maximum size of queue, in that case it indicates queue is full. We will trace this out with an example. Let us go for an in queue operation. Here we will be checking for if is full equal to 1. I hope you know that we can write it like this also. Instead of writing it is full equal to 1. If that is 1, that means queue is full. We will just print the message. Here we are not returning control because we have taken an else if letter. Now consider the case when your rear pointer is pointing to a location number 4, which is the last index of our queue. We are making a rear pointer to point to 4 and front is pointing to location number 2. That indicates that I have index number 0 and 1 which is still empty. So isFull should return false. Now let us have a look at isFull function. When I go for a front's value with over here to an isFull, front's value is 2, whereas rear plus 1 mode max will give me the index 4 plus 1 5 mode 5, that is 0. So they are not equal, indicating that queue is not full. Instead, if front would had been pointing to 0, in that case what would have been the case? Front is 0 and here also rear plus 1 mode max is giving me 0, indicating that queue is really full. In that case it would return 1. But when front is pointing to any other location other than 0, at this point of time it's going to return that queue is not full. It will allow to insert the value. So this is just one example that I took. You can try it with a different set of combinations. Now let us go for an else if. This is needed for a first insertion only. That would check for a first insertion. If that is going to be your first insertion, the value that you are going to insert is a first value. In that case, your front and rear is pointing to -1. So you would need to increment the front also along with rear. We did the same thing in a simple queue as well. So this is nothing but my first insertion condition. Okay. So if front equal to -1, what we will do is we will make front and rear to point to 0 to point to first element, which is 0th index, followed by which we will write q of rear equal to value. All the other successive insertions, we will go for this else part, wherein it will compute the value of rear where the value is required to be inserted. In all the other cases, it will compute the rear value where the insertion is required to be done. So when, say, if rear is pointing to 4, in that case 4 plus 1 mod max will give me 5 mod 5, resulting in 0. So rear would now be pointing to 0th location, and q of 0 will get this new value. Just because q was not full, we reached here. Otherwise, we would have returned the control from here, because this is an else if ladder. Now let us go for a DQ operation. In a DQ operation also, we will have to first check for a queue to be empty or not. If it is empty, we will have to just turn our control back, returning a value 0. So is empty condition is same as that we had it in a simple queue. That is, if front or rear is pointing to -1, it indicates that queue is empty. If not, we will have to check for this conditions. First thing that we will do is we will take a value, that is where the front is pointing, in a temporary variable t, because we have to return this value, followed by which we will check for if the value that we are going to delete is a last value. If is it so, we will have to reinitialize front and rear with -1. So how can we get that it's a last value or not? By checking front to be equal to rear. If front equal to rear, does mean this is the last value I am going to delete. So I have to reinitialize front and rear with -1. If not, does mean you have more than one values inside your queue. If so, you have to just increment the front by making use of this. Suppose the value the front is pointing is 2. So 2 plus 1, that is 3 mod 5, resulting in a value 3. So the front will now point to a next index 3. Once we are done with this else part, we will have to return a value which was stored in this variable, temporary variable, to a calling function. Now this is my main function which I have designed, which has a menu driven option, 1 for NQ and 2 for DQ. Depending upon the choice, case 1 and case 2 is executed. If it's a case 1, it's an NQ operation, so I scan a value from the user, followed by which we will make call to an NQ function. If it's a DQ, we will make DQ call to a DQ. It returns a value which is required to be stored over here in order to print it. This do while loop will color queue. This is an array implementation of a circular queue.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe my channel for more videos on data structure, analysis of algorithm and cycle program. Thank you.